idea if I have volume. I don't know what's going on with this situation. Um, so let's see what's going on. Let me, I don't know. I'm going into YouTube right now. It says that I'm live. I don't even know. I don't even know. It says I'm live a bunch of times. So let me try Facebook. According to this, it looks like I've got my mic on and my desktop audio off. So this says that I'm live right now. My computer is just being crazy at the moment. Okay. All right. So it looks like on Facebook I'm handled. Okay. Um and it shows that I'm live 3 times on YouTube. So let me refresh YouTube real quick. Uh Sometimes I think about not going live and yeah, and then you get this weird stuff. It's showing me on live 3 times on YouTube, and I have no idea which one is the right one. So we're going to open the first one and see what happens. If we get that really obnoxious noise, ah, there I am. Okay. All right. I'll have to go back in and delete all of those other things on social media. So I'm going to make this guy big so that I can see any comments because I just don't trust the internet right now. Mute. Mute you, Heidi. Okay. All right, and let me make this small over here because now it's actually kind of showing me. My nose is itchy now. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, sometimes. So, hey, hi, how are you? I'm Heidi. I'm a work at home handmade business owner at HeidiMind.com, as well as a homeschool mom of girls ages 11 and soon to be 13, like Sunday, soon to be 13. So scared. I go live here on Facebook and YouTube on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. During the live, I share about things going on in my business, homeschooling, and our personal lives. Be sure to follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post videos or when I go live. And feel free to hit the like button or the thumbs up as this helps more people just like you see the videos and come hang out. And never have I appreciated my script more than right now because um, when stuff like that happens, it just throws me completely for a loop. If you are joining me live today, please comment with hashtag live, or if you are watching the recording, comment with hashtag replay. This helps me know when people are watching and if I need to change up my times. And if you aren't already subscribed, be sure to check the pinned link to sign up for the email list for updates about new products, blog posts, sales, and other fun things going on. Alrighty then. So I have a little bit of a script kind of to keep me on track because if you hung out with me before, you know that I am very easily um, I can go off topic fairly easily. Um, it's just it's what I do. So I have a lot of notes. I was going to originally talk about a few of my favorite things. I have a business planner. Um, it's designed by another small business owner, and it is my Creative Boss 2023 planner. And I really like this. I have it both as a physical planner and also as a digital planner for my iPad. And that way I can like write things down very easily and I can move them back and forth without having to erase a bunch of stuff because obviously it's easier to well, I have good notes for the iPad, so I can literally write um, and then erase and change things around, and then I can write them on my other planner as well because I have friction pens, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm going completely off script right now. So these are my friction pens. I love these. They erase very well, but if I write stuff down on my iPad planner and then move it to my physical planner, I have to erase a little less. But originally, I had tried to plan out like 6 months of what I was going to talk about on during my lives. And when I planned this, I was going live on Tuesdays. So I already had to change everything and bump it over to Wednesdays, which kind of messed things up because like I was going to go live on Valentine's Day and then also on Mardi Gras, and I figured that would give me something to talk about. Let me change my phone to do not disturb real quick because otherwise, again, shiny ball syndrome. Um, but then my oldest daughter, we homeschool, but she has some in-person classes that she goes to on Tuesdays. And then the kids also ended up doing some tutoring on Tuesdays, early for us in the morning. Um, so we opted to change my live to Wednesdays. So yeah, so I changed things up a little bit. But I found my headband today. That's my St. Patrick's Day headband. So I'm getting all excited about that. Um, I normally make corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. Um, I'm at least 25% Irish. Um, yeah, not that that makes any difference in what I should be eating on St. Patrick's Day. Um, the kids don't really like corned beef and cabbage, and for some reason, every year that I make it, it always takes longer than anticipated. Don't know why. I've been making this for at least a dozen years, if not more. Um, so this year I don't want to do that. I'm going to make a shepherd's pie because that sounds better to me. I love potatoes. And then I started looking up desserts because I'm like, well, what do, what dessert am I going to make? And I saw a recipe for a Guinness chocolate cake with Irish cream frosting. And then there was one that was for Guinness double chocolate chip cookies. Um, and I clicked on it, but then there was another recipe for Guinness dark chocolate no bake cookies. So that's on the list because I love no bake cookies. And then there was also like this apple skillet cake. So clearly, I was way more into picking a dessert than a dinner. And I really think I'm going to end up making all of the desserts like throughout the week. And we're just going to have like a week long celebration of St. Patrick's Day. Um, there were a few things that I was looking at making, but I doubt like, I don't even know if the kids are going to eat the shepherd's pie. Sammy might, Evie probably won't. Um, but whatever. I like cooking. That's what I'm going to do. So I've totally gone off topic with that, but originally I was going to talk about a few of my favorite things, and honestly, the last couple weeks I just have not been motivated at all for anything, and I could not think of favorite things today. So after I do my whole like review of stuff going on, I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health, and it's really just about my own mental health Um, this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist. I am none of those things. So if you are having some issues with mental health or physical health, I do recommend seeking professional help. There are a lot of different sources now. There's tons of places that you can call and get free help. So do your research, always go with a professional. This is just my own experience and only pertains to me. And I'm just venting because I can. So, as far as updates around the house, unmotivated, totally and completely unmotivated. Um, I think part of it has to do with the fact that I had been exercising regularly for a while and I stopped. Um, I got sick I got sick in December. Um, and I bounced back. I was exercising again, but then like I don't know, just February. February does something to me that I just don't want to do the things. And I had like a minor drip coming from my ceiling here in the garage or my sewing studio, whatever you want to call it, um, on a brand new roof. And the roofers did come out and they said they fixed it, but then it was leaking again, and then it stopped leaking, and it started leaking again this morning. So I don't know. It's a very minor thing, but we all know that water, even minor water, can cause major damages. So yeah, I'm blaming my lack of motivation on some of that. So I did get up today. I have been getting up early. So that is one thing that I have started to do. Um, on Mondays, I have a training at 7 a.m. online, and so I'm usually always up early on Mondays. But the last couple days, I've been getting up. I like to be, I'm a weirdo. I like to be up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's way earlier than my kids get up because I like the quiet time. I like to be able to kind of do my own thing for a little while. So I have been getting up early and I did walk today. So yay me. Um, I just felt, I know last week I was watching part of my replay when I was trying to figure out what was going on with YouTube. And I can tell um, that I'm starting to put a little weight back on. And then I of course weighed myself and I confirmed that I've put a little weight back on, and it's not dramatic, but apparently the minute I start putting on weight, it's going all to my face right now. So my mom says that no one else notices it. It's just me. I don't know. If you don't notice it, thank you. But I notice it, and I want to feel more like myself. And right now, I don't feel like myself. So, anyways, I did walk today, and that was good. Um, and then if you see the notes in the, I don't know where they show up. I think on Facebook they're above the video, and on YouTube they're below the video. Uh, I I put in there eating the elephant one bite at a time. I follow a few small business coaches on like YouTube and Facebook and whatever, and a couple of them use that phrase. And I know I want to say that like there was a homeschool workshop I went to and they said that as well. So really, it's just that you have this enormous task, aka the elephant, and you you can't take that elephant on all at once. Like you can't. Um, you have to take it on one little bit at a time. So around the house, I have been slacking. I make these fabulous lists. I am an expert list maker, but the execution has been failing me, and you know that's the whole unmotivated mental health thing. So I'm not getting the things done that I want to get done around the house, keeping things clean, moving on to new areas to get them organized. Um, But I have been eating the elephant one bite at a time. So maybe I spend 15 minutes on one area, and then my brain totally goes into overwhelm and I have to walk away. And so I move on to a different area and I might do like 10 or 15 minutes on that. And I'll go for maybe 45 minutes to an hour and then I have to go do something else. And um, like meaning I'll work on different projects for about an hour and then like I really just have to like mentally shut down. So I've been reading a lot lately. And I think last week I started talking about what I was reading and then I never actually told you what I was reading, which I laughed about later, right before I was about to go to sleep when I realized I didn't tell you. So, real quick, again, sidetrack. Um, I love to read. I don't, if I could just sit around and read all day, I absolutely would. Uh, Maybe I did. Did I talk about it? I remember talking about New Orleans. I don't know. I don't know. Um, so a few networks, whatever, have been coming out with like Anne Rice TV series. So there was Interview with the Vampire, and I first learned about Interview with a Vampire my junior year in high school. We still had to do book reports back then, and you had to do an oral report. And I literally could tell you the exact name of the person that did the report on the book. Um, I still know that person in real life. But I their book report was really good, and I thought, oh, I that sounds like a good book. And like later on, I read it, and I read most of the series like into my 20s, and then I kind of stopped. Um, but then they also another network is doing a TV show called, um, or has it, The Mayfair Witches, which is also an Anne Rice series. And I know that I read The Mayfair Witches. Um, it's a trilogy. You can correct me if I'm wrong if there's more books now. At the time when I read it, it was only a trilogy. It was The Mayfair Witches, Lasher, and Teltos. And I know I read those books. I had physical copies of the books. I can picture them on my bookshelf. I had them probably until the early 2000s, and then I do remember selling them in a garage sale or donating them. Like I got rid of them because I thought, oh, I've read them, I'm never going to read them again. Uh, so when I found out that these networks were, I've got something in my eye. When I found out these networks were going to do these TV series, I wanted to read the books again. So I bought digital copies of like the entire Interview with the Vampire Lestat series, and then I went and bought the trilogy for the Mayfair Witches, and I started reading the Mayfair Witches. I have no recollection of any part of these stories. Like there are certain things I remember. Um, I remember there's this like ghost kind of thing entity that kind of follows and haunts the Mayfair family. And I remembered that there was an emerald. Um, and in my head, I have memories of a story that is not what I just read. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I finished The Mayfair Witches. I just finished Lasher last week. And then I felt like I needed to take a little break before I dig into Teltos because the books were a lot heavier than I remember them being. Uh, I know that, like with the vampire series, there was always a lot of like good versus evil, and you know what happens to a vampire soul, and blah blah blah. Uh, but I didn't remember this series being so like just emotionally heavy. So, um, I think I'm going to read the fourth book of the Percy Jackson series because it's like sitting on my shelf. I figured that would be like something light, and then I'll come back to Anne Rice. Um, so yeah, so that's what I'm reading. I'm gonna start reading the Percy Jackson again, and then I think there's like a fifth book that was just released. So I'm trying to get Sammy to catch up because I think Disney Plus said that they're gonna do a Percy Jackson series. Like I know they have the movies, but like the kids aged out, and ironically, one of the girls from the Percy Jackson movies is playing the lead character of the Mayfair Witch series. So, there's a connection there. I'm linking it around. So anyways, that again, that was off of my schedule of what to talk about. With homeschooling, uh, we're just moving right along. But the kids are feeling more confident in things, and so I'm really excited about that. That Evie, both girls are doing tutoring on Tuesday mornings for math. Evie is, excuse me, Evie is feeling much more confident in math, and she said that. So I was really excited about that. Samie has an oral presentation coming up, and I think I might have been dreading it more than she was, if you can believe that. But she already has like the visual presentation done. Um, she did like slides. I can't think, like Google Sheets. I forget what that's called with the Microsoft translation, but it's Google Sheets. And those are really cute. She did a really great job on that. And then she was practicing talking, um, like actually doing the presentation for myself and her sister. And she's just having a lot of fun with that. So I'm really excited about that. I played around today with my camera app, and some of that has to do with what I use for my live stream. So for my live streams, I use something called Streamlabs, and it allows me to use one camera and post to Facebook um, and what? I don't know what that says. I'm sorry. I'm trying to check comments while I'm talking, and Facebook is saying something about send stars to see comments. I don't know. So weird. So I'm just trying to check comments basically, to see if anybody needed like commented because I don't know if Streamlabs is working right. Um, so I purchased these cameras last year. It's green light, but it's not really on. So it's these. And I got three of them because I can set up three different cameras and then I can record. I can't record all three at the same time, but I can switch cameras without actually having to move a camera around. So I'm hoping that I can start doing some like sew alongs that are possibly live. So that was something interesting. Um, so I was playing around with those today, and I don't know if I messed up my Streamlabs, but these are supposed to connect to Streamlabs, and I don't know, it was being all wonky. But I am hoping to have a new setup for next week's live because I don't particularly love the burgundy wall behind me. This is my garage, and it's being slowly converted into my sewing studio. Uh, Originally, when we kind of did the garage. So all the burgundy walls um, were sheetrocked previously by my husband because this was his like man cave, and um, he used to have like poker night in here. And then after he passed, my brother came out, and my brother started working on doing some stuff. And then my one of my uh, best friends from high school, her boyfriend came out, and he helped finish insulating and sheetrocking, and I still have to tape and mud and paint and we'll get to that eventually. But it's just a slow process. It's just a slow process. Uh, so I'm not loving the burgundy, and taping and painting and all that is going to take me a little while, but I have some options, and especially moving the cameras, like this wall that well, you can kind of see over here is white. So like there's some stuff up there that's not pretty, but it's at least like a white background. But I also have I have a backdrop. So if I can move the camera position, then I can use the backdrop. And another thing I noticed was this window. You can see my chewy boxes. uh, when I was setting things up earlier, like I start coming down here around 3:30, 4 o'clock to set all my computer stuff up. So you'd think it would have been all set up, 5. It was so bright in here that you could hardly see me in the camera because the light was coming right into the camera. So I'm going to change the angles. But for right now, I'm using my computer camera, and it is what it is. So yeah. So next week, that's the goal, is as I lop off that elephant one little bite at a time, is to have a new camera setup for next week. Because then I can use these smaller cameras. Um, I just have to figure out like the comments stuff, because either I have to have my phone up and watching, or I have to have my phone and my iPad so that I can see both places at once in order to like talk to people, see comments. So we'll have to figure that out. We'll figure it out together. Other business news: new Easter shirts will be available this weekend. Um, I am hoping to have that drop ready tomorrow so that it actually releases on Friday. It has been so difficult trying to get things to line up and be able to publish on time. Um, but everybody cross your fingers for me. Um, Someone else provides me with the mock-ups, and then I just have to reformat them to fit them onto my website, and I have to put my logo on them. Um, and I was having a hard time. I didn't think that they had uploaded the mock-ups, but they had. They put them somewhere new, so I didn't find them until the last minute. And then it takes a really long time to put listings into the website. So moving forward, hopefully that won't take as long. Embroidered items are going to be coming back to the site. I wanted to have some up last week, but that upload took so long, and I have to create new templates for the embroidered items. Basically, on my website, I it is a little more work than having like an Etsy shop, but I have more control over my listings than I would in an Etsy shop. I'm gonna do a survey over the next like week. I have a lot of different things that I'm gonna be doing, like surveys, this or that, or whatever. Um, because I don't know if I want to go back to Etsy. There's a lot of stuff that I'm just not loving. But I can create a page template on my own website. But right now, I just have the template set up for the items that are currently on my website. And because they're heat press transfers, I don't have to change as much. Like, it's a heat press transfer on a bag, or it's a heat press transfer on a t-shirt. Um, but to do embroidery, it's a whole different template that I have to create. So it's just taking me a little longer. Um, but I am excited to start doing the embroidery again, uh, and to be able to actually do embroidery again. And again, very excited about the opportunity to do some live videos where I show you how I'm doing the embroidery, because those are fun. And then the tea of the week. Move my hair a little. I think there's something under my wheel. People say I act like I don't care. It's not an act. Um, I thought this was fun. I was in a snarky mood today from that not being motivated thing, so it sounded like fun. Sorry about the loud noises. The kids know I'm live, and yet they like to be loud. So for this next part, it's going to be a little bit more on script than usual, just because there are certain things that I really wanted to touch on. And let's be honest, I will ramble, I will go off topic, I will catch a whole different train to a whole another city. So I've always sort of joked about having undiagnosed ADHD or being a bit bipolar. I'm not saying that either of these things are a joke, but that I know that I'm easily distracted, and my mood swings are similar to that amusement park ride with the pirate ship that goes like from side to side to side and sometimes goes all the way around. Uh, Personally, I have never looked into pursuing a diagnosis, mostly because I don't want to be on pills. I've managed to maintain myself without hurting myself or others. Well, maybe not in the feelings department, but usually I can keep myself in check. But what I have noticed over the last year, especially as I've been attempting to navigate one of the most confusing years of my life, is that sometimes we can simply feel depressed, but perhaps we are not actually depressed. Um, so, yeah, if you have been following me for a while, you kind of know what's been going on. If you have not, if you're new, um, sadly, it's a shameless plug, but please go to the website, check out my blog. I have a lot of different blog posts about things that I've been dealing with over the last couple years, and especially over the last 11 months, because I don't want to talk about it on YouTube more than I have to. So lately, my lack of motivation has been bothering me a lot this year. It used to be that I could survive on caffeine, sarcasm, and 3 hours of sleep. Was I dropping the ball? You bet I was. But for the most part, I was getting things done. The house was clean, the bills were paid, my orders were shipped, and jobs were scheduled because at that time I was still working for my dad, for his HVAC company full time. And I had the kids with me full time. It was a whole thing. When I stopped working for my dad, things in my own life seemed to come to a screeching halt. And we also suddenly had more sickness, more death, and we had a freaking pandemic. It was a crazy few years. Um, so just some things that, especially this year, that I've really noticed is I'm just tired all the time, and I want to take a nap a lot. I've never been a nap person. I have friends that are nap people, and I would make really mean jokes about how many naps they needed. But I do find myself during the day, like just mentally exhausted, and I just, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to read. I don't want to watch TV. I don't watch a lot of TV anyway. Um, I can't focus on the things that I'm supposed to focus on. And today I was like, when we're little, when we're children, um, we believe that naps are good for growth. Like, like the kids need a nap because they're so overwhelmed and they need it for their growth and blah blah blah. And why is it that when we're adults we don't think that anymore? Like, maybe I'm growing. I mean, I know that I'm growing in ways that I shouldn't be growing, but what if something is really in my eye and it's bothering me? Sorry. I'm sorry if anybody is not liking when people touch their eye. Sorry. So if you see me blinking, it's not, at this point, it's not really emotion. It's itchy eye syndrome. Um, But maybe needing a nap is just a sign of mental growth that, we got to work through all those things in our dreams and our subconscious. I like it. I think I'm gonna run with it. Um, I did another key point that I made myself four key points. So it's not like I'm gonna go on forever, hopefully. I did stop exercising um, and I see what that has done, and I don't like it. Um, I growing up, I have one biological sibling. I still only have one biological sibling, um, and we are just about 12 months apart. We're a little over. Um, so people thought we were twins a lot because he was always a tall kid. He was always the lanky kid, and I tended to be the the round girl. And there's a whole lot of stuff that I could go into about, my trauma with being whatever. Um, but by the time I got into high school, I evened out, we'll say. I thinned out quite a bit. Um, and then especially when I started working at 16. I was walking a lot. I would walk to the bus stop, I would walk to work, I would whatever. Um, and I was having fun. I was hanging out with friends, and we did get to a point, I want to say it was the summer between my sophomore and junior year. It had to have been between my sophomore and junior year that my dad and my stepmom sat me down because they felt that they needed to talk to me if I had an eating disorder. I was just really busy. I was just super, super busy. I forgot to eat a lot. Um, but I did eat. It wasn't that I was starving myself. I got really thin for a while. Um, and it is what it is. I was fine. I was healthy. I was eating the things I needed to be eating. Um, I was exercising a lot. I was just burning more calories than what I was consuming. And I maintained a good, healthy weight for a long time. Um, and then I stopped maintaining a good, healthy weight. And, some of it comes with getting a car and working at jobs that I wasn't moving around as much. Um, but I've made a lot of jokes about my own weight over the years. Um, and and right now I just know that I don't feel like me. I don't I don't I feel like I'm wearing someone else's body. So I don't like it, and I'm doing things about it. Um, Maybe not as much as I should, and that's okay because we all have to just kind of go through these things when we go through them. I have noticed I'm not able to finish projects. I start to clean or to organize, and I have to stop because I'm so overwhelmed by what needs to be done. I did it today. I have been working on my dining room. This is not a big space. I know I've talked about this before. My dining room is a very small area. Um, and I always wanted to put our homeschool stuff out there or in that room. And my husband was always like, no, no, we don't want to clutter it up. Uh, well, now I've moved homeschool stuff out there because that's where we homeschool. And I have wasted a lot of time going from the dining room to the back of the house where the closet is and trying to sort through things and bring it back out. And my house is not that big. So it's just a lot of wasted time. So I have a couple of little shelving units and drawers that I've put into the dining room. They're very small because, again, the dining room is small. And I've been trying to work on, that was high pitched. I've been trying to work on organizing it to make it more functional so that I'm wasting less time. And I ended up taking all of the books out, all of the curriculum, and I piled it up on the dining room table, which is a very small 4-person round table. Uh, it's it's been like that for 2 weeks now. We do our homeschool work wherever we can around the house. Sometimes it's in my room, sometimes it's in the living room. It's a hot mess. So today I had a minute where I felt like I had some energy and I went to go work on the room and I got a few subjects organized and then my brain just went like on a roller coaster and I'm thinking about, I have a load of dishes that needs to be done and I need to finish folding the two baskets of laundry and am I going to set up the new backdrop tonight so that I have it ready for the live? And like it's paralyzing when that happens because there's just so many thoughts going on. It's not just having too many tabs open on the computer, it's that you have all the tabs open and suddenly the whole thing's locking up and you just have to wait for it to finish spinning um, to move on. So that's where I've been lately in mentally is spinning and doing the things one at a time. So I did get those done. I got a load of dishes done. I got some laundry into the washer, but I didn't want to start it because I knew I was going to go live and it's really loud in here when the washer is going. So, and it likes to jump. My washing machine's dumb. So, and then the last thing I wrote down is just that some days I have a ton of energy and I get a lot done, and other days I really have to fight myself just to get one task done. Um, I do know that I'm better when I have music on, so I do try to put music on. The kids hate my music. So sometimes I try to play things that like they kind of will tolerate, but it's not what I like listening to. So I I have found that I'm more productive like on Fridays when they both have in-person classes and I'm home by myself for a couple hours. Um, but yeah, it's it's the thing. I haven't wanted to make dinner lately. Um, Usually like breakfast is kind of a free-for-all in our house that my oldest doesn't really eat breakfast, or when she does she just fixes it herself. My youngest will only fix herself cereal, so if she wants something else then I have to make it for her. And I'm like pretty low key. I could have toast and coffee and be just fine. um, Lunches are a fend for yourself kind of situation, so basically I have to be in charge of dinner and I'm just not, it's just not there. Like I know I have the meals, like I've done the meal prepping and I have a bunch of meals that are still prepped. But I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. There might be more. But I also know that there are things that I need to finish those meals. Um, because they like whatever. Like sometimes they need um that thing in my, I think it's an eyelash. Uh in my eye. In my yeah, because some of the meals still need something else added to them to finish them. And I am still trying to not go shopping until the very last second of knowing like that we've gone through every single other thing in the house. Um, so that's frustrating because I would rather just go get food and not deal with making dinner. But and I like to cook, so that's the tricky part is that I do like to cook. I just not if I'm forced into it. So I don't have any tips for anyone about what to do other than eat the elephant one bite at a time. Um, for all of these things that I've just talked about, most days, if I feel like I need to take a nap, I go take a nap. I just do it. A lot of times I'll set a timer, just because if I really go in and just like sleep, and then I won't sleep at night. So at least if I just go in and I just lay down for like 20 minutes or something, then um, it does enough to kind of reset my brain, and then I can function again. Um, but I think we need to allow ourselves to do that sometimes. Uh, I did exercise today. I walked today, so I was happy about that. Um, I think I was gonna try to go for 30 minutes, but I did. I woke up a few minutes. Well, I woke up like 30 minutes later than I wanted to, so I ended up only walking for 20 minutes. But it wasn't as terrible as I was thinking that it might be because I've gone so long now without walking. So that was good. Uh, the cleaning and organizing, I'm just doing a little bit at a time, and then I have to know that it's going to get done. Um, Sometimes it's all you can do is just a little bit at a time, and that's better than not doing anything. Uh, so, like the dining room, I'm saying that I didn't do that much, but really, I got a large amount of things put away. I have to sweep the floor, which I'm not looking forward to. Um, and I have to mop the floor. And then there are still some things like on a couple of chairs and on the table, but it's nowhere near what it was yesterday or this morning. Um, but my mind says that because I didn't finish it all in one sitting, that I'm a huge failure. So, and I'm not. I'm just not perfect, and that's okay. Uh, so on the days that I have energy, I will get more done, and on the days that I don't have as much energy, I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time till I get where I want it to be. And with that, it is 6 o'clock, so I know that with all the crazy with Facebook and YouTube and Streamlabs not wanting to do my audio right, um, I didn't go a full hour. My clock on my Streamlabs says 47 minutes, but I think that's okay. So let me scroll up to my outro. I make my own noises, don't you know? So thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up, follow or subscribe, and comment with hashtag live or hashtag replay. All of these interactions not only help to push the video out to more people that would enjoy them, they help me know what content you are enjoying the most. Don't forget, if you are in a rough place, there is always someone out there that is able to help you. Do not be too proud to ask for help. Uh, I've been there in a lot of ways. It's okay to ask for help.